Now, we'd like to get the winners here on France 24. For business, we're going to go to, and we're also going to welcome to us, as well as Owen here on the set, Jonathan Benhamou to the show. He's founder of the Nova Post and France's newly crowned Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Jonathan, welcome. We're going to chat to you in just a few minutes' time, so good to have you with us. First, though, Owen, you've got the latest market moves.
Some winners on the market as well, on the markets, I should say, Stuart, as well, this Wednesday morning. Lots of volatility out there, lots of uncertainty about exactly where this Eurozone crisis is going and if it can be resolved at this summit on Sunday. But those are the numbers for now. You can see the Nikkei just before the close of play, around 1/3% up. Hong Kong having a pretty good day as well, well over 1% up. Sorry, you first.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got a shot for Apple investors as well, haven't you?
This is the big story on Wall Street yesterday, Stu. Absolutely underperforming for the first time in 10 years. You'd have to go back to 2001 to find Apple missing expectations. Yes, the results look pretty good. Income for the fourth fiscal quarter for Apple up 54%. And yet it's sales of the iPhone that dipped ever so slightly, particularly during September. Sales of the iPhone dipping 16% to 17 million units worldwide. Now, that missed expectations of around 20 million units. That helped drive the share price down some 6% in after-hours trading on Wall Street yesterday. That wiped some $26 billion off Apple's share price.
He's only been gone a week or so, but inevitably some saying this is all because of Steve Jobs.
It is partly that. I think a lot of investors are saying this could be the moment when Apple's fortunes potentially change because they lost the iconic figurehead that was Steve Jobs, the driver, the founder of that company. That said, we shouldn't write off Apple just yet. I just mentioned a 54% increase in income is pretty good. Apple's wiping the floor with most of the opposition on Wall Street right now. And there was some information, some trading updates for investors about the future. Apple saying that it had sold 4 million units of its new iPhone 4S over the weekend. Also putting some predictions on how that product will sell. Estimates are that it will bring in around $37 billion of revenue for the current quarter. That is beating expectations. So not quite the moment to start talking about Apple's demise just yet, I think.
OK, well, let's bring things a little closer to home because there's more pain in Spain. It's downgraded by Moody's. Couldn't come at a more testing time for the Eurozone. Along with Italy, Spain is considered too big to fail, pressuring leaders into finding a cure-all solution for the debt crisis. But Germany particularly is going cold on its ability to deliver at a summit this Sunday, and the picture's complicated by uncomfortable noises over French finances. Here's Luke Trago.
Ratings agencies are in no doubt over their outlook on Spain's economy. Moody's has cut the country's credit rating by 2 notches just 2 days after Standard & Poor's did the same. Worries are on the rise over the border too. Moody's has put France under surveillance, concerned Paris is overstretching itself, and that could have severe consequences for a nation at the heart of the Eurozone's financial rescue efforts.
This could endanger the entire rescue structure for European countries that are in difficulty, since the European Aid Fund is also AAA. If France loses its AAA rating, the fund could lose its own in turn.
In any case, EU leaders are giving mixed messages about their capacity to find a big solution. While France and Germany appear to have found agreement in how to leverage the EFSF with up to €2 trillion, according to British daily The Guardian, Chancellor Angela Merkel sought to lower expectations ahead of a weekend summit.
These sovereign debts have been built up over decades, and therefore one cannot resolve them with one summit. But it will take difficult, long-term work.
That workload seems to be increasing. Beyond the looming Greek default, Italy's looking weak as well. Standard & Poor's have now downgraded the ratings for 24 of the nation's banks.
So can the Eurozone survive this? And indeed, can the Euro survive? That's the question being asked by the chairman of Next, the British clothing retailer. He's so interested in this, in fact, that he's offering £250,000 to The Economist that can come up with a solution and an orderly wind-up of the euro should it happen. He's saying he doesn't want to finish off the euro. He thinks the euro will survive, but thinks that governments haven't got into the detail of any eventual wind-up of the euro. So it's policy Policy Exchange, Stuart, the think tank, is putting out the details, hoping economists like Paul Krugman, Joseph Stiglitz will apply for this. 250 grand if you can, well, write off the euro completely.
You could go for it, couldn't you?
I'm still optimistic about the euro.
OK. Let's have a few more of the day's business news then. Research in Motion launched a new BlackBerry operating system aimed at competing against those developed by Google and Apple. The BBX software intended to make it easier for developers to create new apps. For the range of smartphones and tablet computers, shares in RIM, battered by lost market share and the BlackBerry messaging failure last week, of course, rose nearly 4% after the announcement, but remained 60% down overall.
And union leaders representing more than 40,000 Ford employees have signed off on a new pay deal just days after rejecting it. Plants in the Midwest ratified the deal that promises bonus and profit-sharing schemes, as well as the promise of 12,000 new jobs and factory upgrades. The United Auto Workers Union has been negotiating new contracts for more than 100,000 staff at Ford, GM and Chrysler.
Back to our guest then, a winner for you, Jonathan Benhamou. Welcome once again. Last night he was named France's Young Director of the Year by Ivy Executive Search. He's 28, the founder and chief executive of Nova Post, which specialises in using cloud computing to digitise wage slips. It removes the mountains, of course, of payroll paperwork generated by companies. Jonathan, you've laid off the champagne for us. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us. I mean, it seems France sometimes isn't the easiest place to launch a business. What's been your experience?
Yeah, I think France, it's a very good country to run a business. And I mean, French government do a lot of things for us. We have a lot of loans, we have a lot of help from government, from association, from agencies like OSEO, like Crédit d'Impôt Recherche, and a lot of other associations. But I understand this statement because, I mean, I think it's true because we have a very difficult social right in France, and that's difficult for us to hire people, to fire people, and so it can be dangerous for us with this social right. But otherwise, it's a good country, and I like to live here, and I like to run a business here.
So you've had a fairly good experience, Jonathan, in launching your business. Somebody like Stuart, who's a bit of a technophobe, that has to be said, would be horrified by the idea of not having his wage slip on a piece of paper at the end of the month that tells him exactly what his salary is. Do you encounter any sort of reluctance when you're selling this business to companies that employees just simply want to have that salary information on a piece of paper rather than somewhere up in the air?
Yeah, I understand that. And I mean, it's normal because cloud computing is new and people are afraid about it. I mean, we have like more than 10% early adopters, so you are not the first.
I've got all my box files lined up at home.
If I understand, you're an early adopter. But yeah, the thing is that we are a small company, so if we propose to electronic vault to our user, they're scared about us because we are nobody for now. So our strategy is to sell our solution to companies, to our customer, and to design the portal, I mean the solution, with the color of our customer. So the employees of Bouygues Telecom or Starbucks Coffee don't see Nova Post, but see Starbucks Coffee, see Bouygues Telecom on the portal. So they can go to take the payslip online, but in a portal with the color of the customer.
So you can stay behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah, we stay behind it.
And where do you see the growth in all of this, Jonathan? This is obviously a growth market. We live in a very crowded city like Paris. Where do you see the growth in all of this?
We have an ambition, we have a goal with Nova Post, and it's to create the post of the future. I mean, we want to gather all the documents of a citizen in a unique electronic vault. I mean, you will be able to receive tomorrow your payslip, your bank statement, your invoices, everything in the same electronic vault. Like that, you won't have to go to your mailbox every day. You will have everything online.
I trust him. Jonathan Benhamou, I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Thank you.
I promise. Owen, thanks very much. A lot more business coming up, a lot more news as well. Stay with us if you can.